characters, which is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Patrick Wilson's portraying Ocean Master, but eventually I think we're going to see that relationship really blossom. And I'm not a humongous fan of Amber Heard, but she's beautiful. She plays the part. And the most exciting casting of that is the fact that Nicole Kidman's going to be his mom. So
I had not heard that.
I didn't know that.
Actually,
yeah,
okay.
Nicole
That's
Kidman has
great.
been cast as Arthur Curry's mother.
Sweet.
So she's playing an
Aquaman is
Atlantean.
shaping up. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
I
going to
think-
be sick.
Aquaman's going to be probably one of the better.
It's
But-
going to be one of the highest rated DCEUs, I bet.
Arthur
Probably.
Curry is my boy, and Mira is his, well, at one point was wife. Right now in current comics is not, but and she has this last issue of Aquaman. She basically said, "I'm not going to marry you."
Aw.
Yeah, because
So they've rebooted their relationship, or
They're just going through a tough time.
yeah, well, it started out their relationship in this.
a little break. It's
Well,
gonna
the
be
relationship
okay.
in this is that she wanted to abide by Atlantean law, and she had to go through the widow court or whatever it is, and have them approve of her as the wife of the king. And they had a vision of her getting mad because Arthur had fallen, and she got mad and destroyed the world. And he had this last fight with Nemo and stuff, and he lived through it, and he's like, everything's fine, they're rebuilding. And so this last issue was just them going through relationship shit, and then him becoming this worldwide hero, the superhero that he deserves to be.
Yeah.
And she basically at the end of that says, I'm not going to marry you, because what if it does come true? And he's like, we can talk about this later. So right now, this beautiful
Lover's
love
quarrel.
story. It's not really a lover's quarrel. Mira's kind of, protecting the future of the world at the sacrifice of her relationship with Arthur.
It's a big thing to do.
It is. And because they love each other a lot,
Yeah.
so.
Alright, how about Dinah and Oliver? Black Canary and Green Arrow.
Which in New 52 was not a thing.
It wasn't. And that was
What?
actually something they touched on in the Rebirth
the
one-shot.
Rebirth series has to do with them. Like,
And
they wake up and they're like, they
I feel like
can't-
something's missing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're
And
thinking
fight
about
each
each
other.
other.
Oh, it's such a true love story, man. And that's why Arrow
Fucked it up.
fuck Felicity. But yeah, and I just hope that at some point in time we see them on big screen, because Arrow has not done that couple's relationship justice.
No, they've had Black Canary twice. Once in they had her in Smallville, and now they have her in Arrow, and they messed her up both times.
Yeah.
And the portrayal is just off, and oh man, it's bad. It is so bad. But if you want like a really good representation of Arrow and Canary, Justice League Unlimited, so good.
Yeah. Is that where she's the leader of Justice League?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. I know at one point in time she becomes the leader of Justice League.
I can't remember
So-
what that is though.
Neither can I, but my daughter was asking me about it the other day because we were watching Arrow and they've introduced this new Canary character. And she goes, wow, she's awesome. And I was like, yeah. That's why I've never liked Katie Cassidy as
Was it
Canary.
Justice League Action? Is that
No idea. I off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. I'd have to look it up.
okay?
So, but
she
I know
probably
at some
was at
point
one
in time.
point. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Cause,
Yeah, because she's a badass.
Well, she's supposed to be a really good tactician.
She is.
She is. She's a
Yeah.
brilliant tactician, a trained hand.
Not something that Katie Cassidy can portray on screen.
No.
She's a romantic lead. She's not an action lead. And you have to think about Canary's action before you can think about her romance. And that's,
where they messed up.
yeah. So,
And with Smallville, they just had this really bad habit of introducing amazing characters, using them once, and you never see them again.
one I want to touch on real quick before we go any further is Wilson Fisk and Vanessa.
Oh, that's such a twisted love story.
Oh, but the love that is there. If you, Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, his wife Vanessa.
But that's just as far as you know in the show, right?
No, that's
Oh, that's comic
true.
stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's.
These DC shows have made me really wary of television.
No, I mean Marvel has done an amazing job with canon and trying to keep true to what it is. The TV shows have.
Okay.
The MCU, the cinematic universe, the movie universe has not, obviously.
Right.
But, the thing about the MCU is they create their own reality around them, and it fits what they're trying to do. But anyway, with Wilson Fisk and Vanessa on the Netflix show, if you want one of the greatest love stories of all time, even though it's twisted and dark and demented, I mean, watch that, because that can't get any better.
Right,
honestly.
like she is such an enabler. Like,
she is, but
straight up knows who he is, and then she tries to perfect him.
Right. Well, she thinks she's trying to fix him.
Right, but she's just actually gonna make him more powerful.
Right. And, I mean, obviously in the show he sent her away, and his main concern whenever you see him in season 2 is how's Vanessa, you know, and it could be a replacement for his mom. I don't know, but the love there is true and deep. And
Well, I mean, he bought like the most ridiculously expensive painting at her view.
White Rabbit on Snow, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, White
At her
Rabbit
gallery
Snowstorm.
solely to impress her and like
It's
to
a
be able to
white
talk
canvas.
to her.
Yeah.
Oh, like that is some white paint on a white canvas.
Yeah.
Also-
Carol and Hal.
I was actually just reading that on the list. Carol and Hal.
Yeah,
Great.
I get them.
See, what's interesting about these superhero love stories is that there's not a single one that's like, it's all happy, everything's fine.
Mary Jane and Spidey, right?
No, not even that.
Well, no, they just did renew your vows, or they're doing it, which I think has to do with that.
Yeah.
Finally, again, but
I mean, but it's
Lois and Clark now in Rebirth.
now in Rebirth, but in New 52,
Well, yeah.
that wasn't really a thing. In New 52, it was Superman and
Wonder Woman.
But
now,
I still haven't seen, and I started reading Superman with Multiplicity with that storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't deal with any of it. Now, Trinity is a different story where Lois and Clark are concerned, because she drove a fucking truck through a barn to find her son and husband. So, I mean, if that, and about killed Poison Ivy in the process.
Well, the Superman and Lois we see now in Rebirth are remnants, I guess, from the pre-New 52 world.
Right, it's because this New 52 Superman's dead.
Yes, he died.
Yeah. And
now the original Superman
is back. But, yeah.
With Lois and his
But
son.
Carol and Hal. Carol Ferris and Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan being Will. And, I mean,
The most
he's
well-known and most popular Green Lantern of all time.
and has forged his own
Power
ring out of pure will.
which was thought to be not possible by anybody who wasn't a Guardian.
And he did it.
Because he's
And Carol Ferris, who is the leader of the Star Sapphires, which is
I didn't know she was the
embodiment
leader,
of
but
love.
is the embodiment of love.
I mean, if she's not the leader, then she's like the most notable one.
oh yeah, well Wonder Woman was a Star Sapphire.
During
for Blackest Night.
Blackest Night, yeah, that was it. But, you know, that when you are the leader of an emotional spectrum in Green Lantern, and that emotional spectrum is love, that means you have a lot of love to give.
Well, it wasn't always like that. The Star Sapphire, at one point, originally made her crazy, turned her into her supervillain. But then, well, you're borrowing.
That's what love can do, man.
Right, and that's what they talk
That's
about,
the power
and that's
of love.
how it
Huey
fits
Lewis reference.
into the philosophy of the Green Lantern universe. Is that the Guardians wanted willpower because it's at the center,
Right.
and it's not an emotion really. It's like it's intellect, it's focus. But the farther you get on the ends of the spectrum, that's how overpowering it can be. Because then you have love and then you have rage.
Yeah.
And they both make you do crazy shit. But that's why in the book I let you borrow, Tales of the Core, Carol Ferris, it's where she's she's becoming a Star Sapphire again.
Yeah.
But it's completely different because now, usually a ring just says you are a part of whatever core and it goes on your finger, and then you become that lantern. But with Star Sapphires, you have to give consent.
Yeah. You have to accept it.
You have to accept the love of the Star Sapphires.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me that.
And that's really what changes it. Or changes the way that that side of the emotional spectrum works.
Yeah.
So now she is literally a warrior of love. And it's so cool.
That is cool.
I love the Star Sapphires. I like that emotional end of the spectrum more. Like Indigo and Violet.
It's a lot easier, man.
Well, it's not necessarily easier.
Well, if you're a good person, it's a lot easier.
No, well, check out what I just told you about the Indigo Lanterns yesterday.
Well, okay, yeah, but those are still a
What
mystery.
about the Indigo Lanterns?
They were
Indigo 1.
Indigo 1 murdered Abin Sur's wife and daughter. And Abin Sur teamed up with a guy, I can't remember his name, but some other alien guy, and created the Indigo power battery. And he inducted the first member, the woman who killed his family, he inducted her as the first member.
To make her feel compassion for his loss.
Right, and like the whole group of the Indigo tribe were like psychopaths and killers. And
if you see their images, I mean, I know you have, they look like psychopaths and killers.
Yeah, and so like they rid all vestiges of their former life, and they've become this new group to spread goodwill and compassion throughout the universe,
which is amazing. Yeah,
it's there should be a book of just Green Lantern and philosophy. I don't know if there is one.
You could write it. I mean, it would be very easy to write.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, I mean, we've talked about Peter and Mary being as important to Cody. I don't have. I mean, I personally don't. I have a stance that I want to take in a mini rant about going back to this comic code authority thing, because I think that the most important relationship in comics as we speak right now, we've mentioned a couple of times, is Midnighter and Apollo, given the social standing of our country and our world as it is right now, and having an openly gay superhero couple. I think that
married. I'm still
not married now.
Not now,
because that was done through Wildstorm and back in 2002. But
who knows?
It's been 14 years.
Maybe we can see another marriage of them.
I would love to. I would love to see DC take that up and kind of redo that, because they had the Midnighter solo series where Apollo's nowhere to be found and Midnighter's sleeping around with all these guys and stuff. But the love story that is there between Midnighter and Apollo, and through this mini series that they've done, you see what you can go through when you love somebody.
Yeah.
He physically travels to hell, fights the devil to try to save the man he loves. That is what love is.
It's a very perfect representation, and it's a very powerful statement.
Yeah. And to be able to show that in a major comic distributor in today's age, I think is invaluable to future readers.
And as important as that is, we cannot forget Kate Kane, Batwoman.
Yeah, she was the first
lesbian to have her own solo series,
and that was Batwoman #1
in 2011.
And that was 2011. Right? Yeah, first openly lesbian character to have her own series. And to piggyback on that, the first transgender was Alyssa Yeoh, and that was Batgirl 19 in 2013. And so DC kind of breaking down these barriers that have been set up. Marvel did their own too. Marvel broke down barriers also.
Congratulations to both of them for breaking barriers.
Yeah, and we have to remember. Just go back to the love is love, thing. The portrayal
it's still out there. Please buy it. All proceeds go to Equality Florida.
We don't even get paid for that plug.
Nope, we don't.
But I'm going to take this opportunity to thank Rock Bottom Comics in Columbia, Maher. We didn't get to our thank yous last time. Check us out on Android.
Podcast Republic.
That thing. iTunes, YouTube.
Check us out on
Spreaker.
Twitter, Facebook.
Just search Comic Boot on everything you guys do. But anyway, we will see you guys on Tuesday of next week, and I think Thursday next week we're going to be talking about comic book presidents.
Hell yeah,
President's Day.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm Kalen.
I'm Cody,
and I'm James, and we will see you guys next time.